Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. Today we're gonna jump into Poker Snowie and we're gonna analyze the last pack of the hands that we imported a few sessions ago. And this is, I've already imported this pack. It's a small one, it's only got 115 hands. And there's only two blunders, so we're gonna go through errors all together. We're gonna look at anything that is over 1 BB of EV loss. So let's jump right into it and let's look for the first bigger error. We don't see a lot of them. Okay, that's the first one. It's heads up tournament, I guess. Maybe this is some sit and go. So the results from this are not that reliable, but anyways, we see 25 big blinds deep stacks and the blinds are 10-20, so probably the beginning of the tournament. And we've got King 7 suited on the small blind. And we just complete, which is fine, but I think we should not do this often here. Heads up with King 7 suited, it should be a raise pretty much always. But on the flop, he goes check, and we continue for half pot. This is fine. We get raised to 80, and we call, and this is this is the mistake, this is the error that the solver picks up on. The solver would rather like to 3-bet here. And I'm not sure I agree with that, actually. Well, on the other hand, it kind of makes sense. We want to have some medium size, medium strength hands in our 3-betting range here. So I guess that's what the solver is going for. But calling here, I would say, is totally fine. There's another king on the turn, and the villain leads for half pot, which we call. Well, on the other hand, here I would probably like a raise much more than just calling. On the other hand, if we take a look at the stacks, we are pretty much committed if we raise here, so maybe that's why we decided to just call here. But I think the best action here is just shoving all in. And this is what we should do, but on the river, the villain bets 140, so a third of the pot. We shove, and the villain folds. So actually, playing this hand the way we did play it, I think allowed us to take the most amount of chips from our opponent. But yeah, these heads-up tournaments, they play quite differently than you would normally play. And yeah, let's move on. Here we have a blunder, I think, 2.6 BBs of EV loss. Once again, this is a heads-up tournament or a sit and go, I'm not really sure. 10-20 blinds. So the beginning of it, and we've got 10-6 on the small blind, and we just limp it. The big blind checks, and we see the flop of 6 queen 10. So we flop 2 pair. We continue we bet half pot, and the big blind raises to 80. We decide to call this, which is fine, but we see the solvers playing 80% call, 20% raise. There's an ace on the turn. Big blind checks, we bet half pot. And the big blind calls. And there's a jack of spades on the river. Big blind checks, and we shove all in, which is the error, actually. And I have to say, I don't really like it here, because we are actually turning our two-pair hand into a bluff. We're not really getting called by wars that often. I mean, we might get a hand like 10 jack or queen jack to fold sometimes if we shove it here, but I think given how the hand has played out, I think it's better to check here. And there's not really a lot of merit in shoving and in turning our hand into a bluff. So I agree with the solver's line. Well, that's it. How come is that it? I thought there was two blunders. So yeah, it looks like we've got it all. So maybe we can try and import some other hands. Wait, we imported all these, right? Yeah, so we've already imported everything. It looks like. Can also import some 888 poker hands. Maybe let's try importing a small pack, but also a bigger pack for another session. Yeah, and let's take a look at this session here. We made one blunder, so again a small one, so we can probably analyze it. Should be able to find some hands that fit our criteria, so over 1 BB of EV loss. Oh, we have a big one, 7.16 EV of BBs of EV loss, and this is a hand that happens at 501,000 blinds with ante 125, and we're on the big blind with 25, 26, nearly big blind stack. We see a limp from under the gun. The small blind completes, and we check our ace-8, which is fine, but we're probably not too forced to shove here. I think it makes sense to check it often here, but we could also shove and try to get these guys to fold, but maybe we're afraid that this under the gun player is trapping us. But let's see what happens. Small blind checks, and we go ahead and bet 2,700, so a little over half pot. And we see the solver doesn't like this that much. The solver prefers checking here 100% of the time. We get raised all in by the big blind, by the under the gun player who limped, and we call here. And this is actually interesting because I don't really feel like it's a bad call here, because what's this player playing like this? So limping pre-flop and then raise shoving on the flop on a board ace queen 6. Is he really doing that with a hand like aces? Probably not, or most definitely not with a hand like queens or sixes. Well, sixes he could have, but would he really shove all in here? Probably not. He would try and get some value of all these hands. Even if he had a hand like ace 10, I think he would not play it this way. So he would not shove here on the river. So shoving here is rather a sign of weakness than a sign of strength, at least in my eyes. And I think calling here for 25 big blinds, I mean, sure, it is maybe a little risky play. I don't know. Looking at this now, it seems to me that the villain's just not having a lot of hands that beat us in the spot that he would play this way. And that's why I think the call is fine. And the villain actually showed us ace-3 suited and we won the pot. So, yeah. Let's move forward. We've got a hand of minus 1.35 big blind of EV loss. And this is a hand that happens on 600, 1200 blinds with ante 150. We've got ace queen suited under the gun. We open for 2.5 big blind. We get a call from a middle position player. The cutoff also calls and the blinds fold. We see a flop of queen 10-7 and we overbet the pot. We bet 1.21 big blind of EV of 1.21 of pot, and the solver doesn't like that. The solver likes to check here, which is really weird. Why would we check here 80% of the time? Well, maybe we should check here sometimes, but 4 out of 5 times seems a little bit too much. And if the solver is betting, we see that he's mostly betting a quarter pot bet and not over betting here ever. So yeah, I agree. It's probably better to bet a quarter pot here, but 4 out of 5 times you should check here, huh? In a 3-handed pot. Interesting. But yeah, the villains folded, so we don't know what they had. Okay, there's no more, so we can analyze this one because it's close to a 1BB pot. And this hand happens at 1500, 3000, ante 375. We're on the dealer, we're on the button with 13 big blinds. And there's a open from cutoff, and we fold our pocket sixes. And I agree, on a 13 big blind stacks, it should probably a shove. But surprisingly, the solver thinks it's a call and sometimes a shove. I don't really like just calling here on 13 big blinds because we may often get pushed over from the blinds. So I would say if you're going to play this hand here, it should always be a shove. It shouldn't be just a call, but we see the small blind 3-betting and Initial raiser actually decides to call, just call, so leaves himself 18k behind. And on the flop, it goes check and shove, and the small blind, of course, calls and takes the pot down. So yeah, I think that would be it for this session. In the next one, we're gonna try and analyze this big pack of hands, 982. That should be fun. And there should be many more blunders, I think. Let's see, let's take a look. Yeah, there's 22 blunders, so there will be plenty of hands to analyze. I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you got something valuable from it. If you did, please leave a comment below, and you can like this video, subscribe to this channel, and check out some of the things that I link in the description of this video, the previous GTO spots we've played. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.